All right, we are now 22 participants. Maybe some more will join us later, but I will start the webinar now as we are pretty strict on the time. So good morning to you all, or good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Audrey Cartreau, and I am a project manager at the CEDTM, which is an association based in Réunion Island in the Indian Ocean, which is part of France. I would like to thank you all for joining us to this webinar. And it's our third It's Whale O'Clock webinar from the IORA Sustainable Whale and Dolphin Watching Tourism Network. I will now share my screen with you to start the slides. All right. So here is a quick overview of the program for today. I will start with a bit of background about the IORA Sustainable Whale and Dolphin Watching Tourism Network. Then I will follow up with a brief update about the whale and dolphin watching regulation in Réunion Island, because it has changed in June this year, and it's for the best for the animals. So I'm pretty excited to share that with you. And then we have our main speaker presentation from Globis, an association in Réunion Island as well, about encouraging observation from the shore with a phone application. There will be some time for questions at the end of each presentation, so don't hesitate to either raise your hand on the Zoom application, or there is a chat as well that you can join and ask your question in the chat. So let's start with the background about the IORA Sustainable Whale and Dolphin Watching Tourism Network. So I'm going to start with a bit of context about whale and dolphin activities that are growing everywhere in the world and also in the Indian Ocean region. So there is a strong need for regulation to be able to still practice these activities, but also to protect the cetacean population. So in response to this context, the Sustainable Whale and Dolphin Watching Tourism Network was created following a workshop held in Sri Lanka in 2016, a workshop that was dedicated to whale and dolphin watching tourism carried out by Australia in partnership with the International Whaling Commission and also Murdoch University. The development of the network was also done after the IORA's working group on trade and investment that was held in 2017. So the coordination of the network is done through member states, and it's taking turns through the member states on a voluntary basis. So Australia has been coordinating the network since 2017, and then France took over in 2022, and we, the CDTM, took over, but still for France, since 2023. And I would like to thank the IORA Secretariat for trusting us coordinating the network for this year and also for next year. The network was created to foster regional cooperation on sustainable whale and dolphin watching tourism through different ways. This was done through sharing information, through capacity building, and also through providing access to the members to expertise. The final goal of this network is to ensure the economic, the social, and environmental sustainability of the whale and dolphin watching tourism in the area. I'm going to share with you some important information about the IORAs and the network. So first of all, the membership of the IORA is open to all IORA's member states on a voluntary basis through focal points because it is a formal network. But the membership of the Sustainable Whale and Dolphin Watching Tourism Network is now open to other countries outside the Indian Ocean. This was done on a decision with the IORA Secretariat to bring a bit more dynamic to the network. The network promotes a collaborative approach through exchanges to a wide network of professionals, such as the private sector, the local communities, the governments, the NGOs, scientists, and other stakeholders. We've published some documents so far. There were 3 newsletters published, one in 2019 and 2020, that were published when it was Australia that was coordinating the network. And we published one in 2023. And very soon there will be the one for 2025 that will be published. We also shared some documents. We shared legal notes of whale watching in the Indian Ocean that was published in 2023, and a socio-economic report of the whale watching activity in Reunion Island in 2024. If you would like access to these documents, please don't hesitate to ask me and I will share them with you. We also had 2 video conferences held in 2024. We are holding one now in 2025, and there will be another one next year. So I told you it was a very brief overview of the network and the purpose. So this is it for the network. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to raise your hand or ask them in the chat. And then I will keep going about the regulation in Reunion Island. All right. Or if you have questions later on, you can still ask them to me through the email address. Do not hesitate, please.
Yeah, hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My question is, this is my first time with there was an incident with IORA. I have been to an initial meeting
Welcome.
before, so I'm trying to understand. This is basically rules and the regulations that are going to be set for this. Just for me to get an understanding. This question, or you may already would have explained it because I just joined the party a few minutes later, I think. Is uh, as a collective for all IORA countries involved, or is it just for our side of the ocean, or maybe you will also
Could you please repeat your question? Mohammed?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes. Could you please repeat your question? I'm not sure I got it.
Okay, so this is my first time with the whale watching regulations, and it's with IORA. On such meeting, I'm Imran. I represent the Sri Lanka Sub Aqua Club, which is the national dive club of scuba diving club of Sri Lanka. What I'm trying to understand here is past this working on regulations on a standardized level for all IORA involved countries, or uh, depending on the country's regulations for its ocean side, there will be a separate regulation, so it will be just one standard regulation for all of us, or it
Well,
will be localized as well based on the original regulations that IORA is trying to set up.
I understood your question. We cannot do one regulation for all countries because we really have to take into account the specificity of each countries. So this won't be possible. But the aim of the network is really to share informations, and maybe you can take some information about how we've done it here in Reunion, for example, and try to apply it with your specificities in Sri Lanka, or yeah, just try to get information from other places that have regulations that you are interested to take in Sri Lanka. It's really to provide everyone with what other countries are doing, so everyone can improve their own regulation.
Okay, Audrey, understood.
Any other questions?
Um,
How many membership party in network? This is a question in the chat from Ahmed. Ahmed, what do you mean by that? Do you mean how many people are part of the Sustainable Whale and Watching Tourism Network? Okay. I can give you the exact number later on. John, do you have an idea of how many are in the network at the moment?
there is 23 countries, but for this webinar, we were waiting about for 42 persons. So, but I don't have the proper answer. I know the number of countries, member of the IORA, but not in the network.
I think the question was more about how many people are inside the Sustainable Whale and Dolphin Watching Network, not the one that are participating to this seminar, if I'm right.
I don't have the answer now. I need to check our information.
There must be around 60, 65, but I can give you the correct number later. Okay, I will keep going with the presentation on the regulation in Reunion Island, and then we will have another short time for questions after this one. And if you have more questions later on, please don't hesitate to send us an email. All right, so this is a brief update about the whale watching situation, about regulation in Reunion Island. First of all, I will tell you a little bit about the CDTM, our association, so you know who we are. So in the CDTM, we have three different teams. One team about turtle nesting beach rehabilitation, one team about marine turtles ecology, and one team about responsible whale watching activities. This team has been, the responsible whale watching team has been in the CDTM since 2017, and we are 3 people inside this team. So John, who is in the seminar as well, and also Charlene, that is also present. If you have any questions after this talk, they can also answer them with me. Our missions are mostly awareness and education, improvement of knowledge through sciences, and also federation of whale watching stakeholders. We have social media, so if you are interested in what we are doing in more details, feel free to contact us. So the whale watching situation in Reunion Island is a really recent activity, but it's growing rapidly. So for your information, we had only 2 operators in 2003. And in 2019, we had 52 operators. In 2024, we had 65 of them. And today, we have at least 67. Reunion Island is a unique place for whale watching activities because it's an area where the humpback whales are coming to mate and also to give birth. So we are seeing a lot of humpback whale mum and calves. The area is very accessible where the whales are coming. It's very close to the shore, and we have a diversity of practices that are allowed. So we can go on a boat doing some observation, but we can also do swim with activities. So because of this, we have a strong need for regulation on the island. Regarding our regulation, in 2009, we had only a charter for approaching the cetaceans. So this wasn't enforced by law, it was only recommendations. But then with the increase of the number of operators, in 2019, we had our first prefectural decree. And then in 2020, 2021, and this year in 2025, we had modifications that were brought to this decree. The CDTN participates actively to discussion with the institution regarding those regulation changes. And this is based on the data we are collecting on the field about how the regulation is being respected by the whale watchers, how boats are approaching the cetaceans, and mostly how the cetaceans are reacting to those approaches. So then we can bring some elements to the institution so they can change the regulation. Saying that, they are not taking everything we are saying into consideration, but some of what we say to them has been applied. So what are the changes for 2025? We have now 3 vessels allowed in observation zone, which is 300 meters around animals instead of 5 previously. The observation time is now limited to 30 minutes maximum. That was 45 minutes before. We do have a whale watching season for humpback whales that is set from the 1st of July until the 30th of September. So outside this period, no one is allowed to go and observe the animals closer than 300 meters. We do have observation time all year round during the day. So it's 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. for swim with activities, which was previously 4 p.m. It's 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. for observation from a boat, and previously it was 6 p.m. And there is also observation from decarbonized boats that are allowed from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Regarding the swim with activities, there is 7 people maximum that are allowed in the water with a guide, including the guide for professionals. And if you want to do it without a professional, you have to be between 2 and 4 in the water. And the vessels that are doing swim with activities must have a platform with a ladder. There is also a maximum speed limit of 10 knots that have been implemented in a specified area during the whale watching season. So all these rules are going on the top of existing rules that are staying for this season and the next ones. And those one are for observation from boats, the speed limit is 4 knots when you're going into an observation area, so 300 meters around the animals, and also when you're going out of this area. All boats must remain on the same side of the animals. It is forbidden to cut the trajectory of the animals and also to follow the animals. Regarding the swimways activities, people in the water must have a calm attitude, what we call the passive attitude here in Reunion Island. The equipment that you need to have with you in the water is a mask, fins, a snorkel, and a wetsuit, and also a buoy. There is no physical contact allowed to the animals, no attraction at all regarding sounds or movements. We do not approach the animals intentionally, no freediving. And above all, we stay together. So we do not surround the animal either with an observation from boat or with swimways activities. And it is also forbidden to be in the water with active animals. And by active animals, we mean animals that are jumping around, flapping the fins, the tail, or doing acceleration. So those rules together with the one that I presented you before means that we are on good tracks for better management of the whale watching activity in Réunion to reduce the pressure on the animals. But we still think it is not enough for vulnerable individuals such as, for example, the mum humpback whales and the calves. So we are trying to push to stop the observation on this group of animals, the humpback whales, mums, and calves, and also on one specific species of dolphins that have a very small population here in Balèn Island. So I'm going to stop here for this update about our regulation, but I was really excited to share it with you because, like I said, we are on good tracks to protect these animals.
Audrey, there is just one question from Danishta on the chat. Can you check it?
Yes. Just before here, so is the email address of the Whale Dolphin Network that we are coordinating, and also our email address from the CEDTN if you have more specific questions about our regulation. All right, so the question is, can you please clarify whale watching season and time? Is the season restricted for humpback whales only? So yes, the season is restricted for humpback whales only. So that means we still are allowed to do dolphin watching outside this season. We have another question from Ahmed. Do ships submit relevant reports on work and compliance with the law? How is ship compliance with procedures and law verified? So the ships do not submit a report on compliance with the law, but we do have patrols that are at sea from different institutions that are checking if the people are complying with the regulation. If they're not, they can be fined or they can have the boat license taken away, for example.
I think Mohammed has a question as well, no? Mohammed?
Hi, it's me again. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I know there are several countries and representatives and organizations involved here, but my knowledge only allows me so far to ask questions about our territory. So I'm just trying to understand here once you set all these regulations, and as you can see, there is a massive disrupt in the behavior of these species, right? That's why you see sometimes most of these areas. Uh, See, first of all, you have to understand it's completely without the laws and regulations. Even if you bring them, most of these places have still have unethical type of whale watching tours, which we can't stop overnight, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. And also, tourists when they come and then when they want to do whale watching and all these because of all these unethical ways of whale watching tours.
Uh,
Like I said,
Mohammed,
you have seen their normal behavior is completely not natural anymore because of the way that it has been practiced. Because when it comes to feeding, mating, and also uh, getting caught to fishing gear and boats and all that, right? So, I mean, these are intelligent animals. So we see a decline in their presence. Now,
Mohammed,
how?
I'm
Hello?
sorry to I'm
Yeah.
sorry to cut you, but it is echoing a bit too much, like Sivani is saying in the chat. Just before when you spoke, it was going really well. Did you do something different?
No, I did not. I did not.
Okay.
Can you hear me well now? Can you hear me properly?
I can.
Okay, hold on. Let me see. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I think it's a bit better.
Okay, where did you lose me, Audrey?
Yes, that's perfect now.
Okay, where did you lose me earlier when I was explaining?
Pretty early, I'm sorry.
Okay, so as you can see, because of I know there are mostly, like I said, there are so many countries and uh, organizations representing at this meeting today. But like I said, as far as my knowledge goes, I can only speak on behalf of what's happening in Sri Lanka. So, so there's been a massive decline and there's been disrupt uh, because of unethical whale watching tours, which we need to do something about it. I mean, if we do bring in and table these regulations and laws, well, of course, depending on the country and because Sri Lanka has a lot of red tapes when it comes to bringing in these laws because we have coastal conservation department, we have department of wildlife, then we have um, so many such organizations that need to let's say if you get something approved that this is the rule that it has to go through so many departments. I think first of all better from my side of town, if we can shorten those and if IORA can come up with a system where we don't need to bypass and go through all these red tapes because it's such a waste of time, and maybe you should speak to the certain higher level authorities to do so. Okay, so number two, let's see, even all these things they get passed through, laws and legislations and regulations and whatnot. How do we, right, monitor these activities? I mean, do we get the Navy involved or do we get some kind of military or police involved or is it the Coast Guard? You know, we can just set out, it's easy to set out a set of rules and regulations and this is what you should do, what you should not do. So far, I don't think there's ever been a workshop for all licensed licensed whale watching tours, people who own tours or people or individual with individual license, so-called license who have all these things operational. I don't remember, or I don't think there have ever been a workshop for such people, um, for them to educate about ethical. I mean, I still don't trust myself saying ethical, this word, because I think it's still not the right thing to do. But like you mentioned, there should be a set of guidelines where you take a snorkel, you take a fin, you have to have a rash guard, or like a part of a wetsuit, or like a t-shirt. All those things. I don't think these type of guidelines have ever been educated to these tour operators. And if you can start from community level and go ground up, uh, and bring some kind of an understanding, like you mentioned, 25 boats at a time, 30 boats at a time, 10 boats at a time. This is not in place. So if you can start on a community level, I think
Yeah.
if you can do that, it will be great. Then you
I
then you set a standard, and then go into international laws. And this is what I am thinking.
mhm.
I may be wrong. I may be wrong. Please feel free to correct me where I went wrong.
what I can say is we do a lot of awareness to the public, to the sea users. And like I said, in 2009, we had this charter of approach that wasn't enforced by law. So it was recommendation, and we did really a lot of awareness to, like you said, start with our community and then take it to law enforcement later on when you're sure that everyone is aware of what you want to put in place. And then you have to go through higher authority to be able to put legislation on. And I can't tell you about how it is in Sri Lanka, but we had to go through higher authority here as well in Reunion to be able to do something about it. And then they agreed to have some patrols to enforce this regulation in place. I'm really sorry because we have a lot of questions and not much time. So what I'm offering you is we can start with Julie from Globis on her presentation about the phone application, and then we can keep going on the questions. I'm saving the questions that are in the chat at the moment, and we will answer them later. Okay, I'll leave you to it, Julie.
Okay, thank you. So let me share my screen. Is it working?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Audrey, for the introduction. So I'm Julie Martin. I'm program manager and admin and finance manager for Globis Réunion. So Globis Réunion is a Réunion scientific NGO that is studying whales and dolphins in Réunion and more broadly in the Indian southern Western Indian Ocean. Globis is also coordinating the Indosat network. I don't know if some of you are familiar with this network. And we developed a phone application that we call Balèn Terla, which basically means in Creole, there is a whale here. And so we created this app last year. It went out, at the beginning of the humpback whale season last year. And this app, the objective is to promote whale and dolphin watching from the coast, from the shore. So it's a free app. It's free to download. And the idea is to have like a very simple, accessible tool to promote the whale watching from the shore. The idea is to provide the useful information, services, advice to watch, to observe the whales from the shore, Also dolphins, even if it's a bit more difficult. But for whales, we have the chance in Réunion to be able to watch the whales from the shore very easily. Most of the surrounding of the island, we can spot very easily the whales and see them from the shore. So this is a specificity we have in Réunion that is very interesting for whale watching. And so before the app, there were sharing of sightings, but they were really constrained to Facebook and WhatsApp groups. And so the idea was to share the sightings with a broader audience, so that everybody could share together the information of sightings and so on. So yeah, the objective of this app is also to create a community, to share sightings in real time, and to communicate about this, to strengthen the connection between observers and globists. So basically to raise awareness about the preservation of whales and dolphins, in general the cetacean conservation, and to encourage responsible practices in respect of peace and well-being of animals, as there is zero impact with whale watching from the coast. So yeah, that was really to promote this kind of activity in Réunion in this context of raising activity of whale watching at sea. So that's why we wanted also to promote this activity, which has really no impact on animals. So yeah, the app is quite simple but quite complete. It's available in different languages, in French, obviously, in English, but also in Creole. So the Réunionnese Creole. It's available on both iOS and Android systems, and so any user can log in with an email and a password, which is its own. And there is also an access to Globis volunteers who can be guides for people to meet on the shore. I will explain a bit later. So, but there is a dedicated access for these people. So when you enter the app, you have this main page with the map of Réunion. And the first thing you can see is all the main and best whale watching spots. So we have spent quite a lot of time to list all these spots. And every spot has a description. So if you just click on the spot, you can see the number of sightings that have been reported during the day. And if you click on the little whale that is just at the bottom of the square, you have a better description of the spot itself with a link to the Google map to access to the spot, the visibility, the sea state, like security information, but also if it's accessible for disabled. And there is also the possibility to note the quality, I would say, of the spot for whale watching. So this is really like the basis of the map is to report all the interesting spots to go and try to observe the whales. So if someone is lucky and able to spot a whale, like I think last year and the year before, you could be anywhere on the shore on the coast of Réunion and could spot a whale within the 5 minutes because there were so many individuals these years. So everyone would have been able to do that. So you just use this drag and drop feature of this fluke with waves around. You move it to the place you are, and well, where you think the whale is observed. And if you, well, the idea is that you have the person who is sighting the whale has is geo as is geolocalization geolocalization of the phone is activated, and automatically the sighting will be reporting the coordinates of the sightings, the dates, the depth, the distance from the shore, and then the person who is doing the observation reports the number of individuals, if it's mother and calves or a single individual, for instance, the direction of the group, if it stays calm at the surface or if it's breaching, and the level of certainty of the observation. So it's a quite complete description of what the person is actually observing from the coast. So then the sighting is reported on the map with this fluke and with the waves around. That means that the sighting have been reported less than 30 minutes away. If there is no waves, it has been a report during the day. So it gives an approximation of the time in between the moment you open the app and the moment that it has been reported. There is also the possibility to go back in time. So as you can maybe see, it's possible to see all the sightings that have been reported during the day, during the week before, 2 weeks before, 3 weeks before, and so on. So it's interesting to have an overview of, well, the season, if there is a lot of whales or not, and if where they have been reported, so that you have the best chance to observe whales. So in Réunion, as most of people know, there are more sighted in the west coast because they have the better conditions in this area, but also in the south. And well, in good years, there are really all around Réunion. It's possible to sight to observe whales. So the app is, as I mentioned, is quite complete because we also bring some information about, well, different things. So first thing is practical information and awareness. So practical information for observation, for whale watching, like simply some advice to watch the whales, what is interesting to spot. Sometimes it's very easy to spot the whales because they are breaching. Sometimes they are really more discreet. They are just blowing. So it's just to inform people about what they need to look at. So these are very practical information and tips. We also promote the citizen science programs that are existing. For instance, our CODAL program, which is citizen science program for photo identification, so that people can share their photos of the flukes for the humpbacks. And there is also a page about the regulations. So we have updated it for this year. And it's also mentioning the program of the CEDTM for the training of operators. So yeah, quite complete information about whale watching activity in general. We also give information on biology and ecology of cetaceans, so all the 25 species that can be encountered in Réunion, the dolphins, of course, and for humpbacks we have, well, a bit more of information, so it's biology and ecology of humpbacks. Also their behaviors, and there is a page for frequently asked questions. More specifically, well, when we can see the whales in Réunion, why we have many whales a year and not so much the year after. So yeah, these questions we usually get from people. And there is also photos of the animals and sounds. So we have this sound catalog of the main species we have encountered and recorded so far. Yeah, so there is a page dedicated to the behaviors of humpbacks. Well, when they show flukes, flapping tails, and so on. And there is this, well, fun augmented reality animations to illustrate these behaviors. Yeah, so you just activate the camera and you can make this whale move around in the surrounding and ask to make her breach or flap the fluke and so on. So this is like a fun feature of the app. As I mentioned before, there is a mode for the guide, the Globis guide. So it's for Globis volunteers who can go around the island and like choose a whale watching spot, and then they report themselves on the app, so that it gives the possibility for other users to meet and like to discuss, to chat about the cetaceans, to ask questions, and like as we mentioned before, well, to create a community, to create awareness. It's going a little bit forward and going, yeah, pushing a bit more the awareness than just the app. Is to have like a human contact. So yeah, this is a possibility that we open in this phone app. And because it's not well, we can't have a volunteer every day on every spot of the island. We have created this possibility of a chat. So there are two kind of chat, like the community one. Every users can chat between each other to share tips, information, more than there is already on the app when you share your sighting. And there is a private chat, which is more to be in contact with Globis team. Well, in case there is a problem, for instance, if there is an entangled whale, this is a chat that can be useful to report. So it's really a real-time chat. This is a new feature that we have created, well, implemented this year, that wasn't implemented last year. It was the fact that the app cannot be used at sea. So last year it was one of its main default, I would say. But from now on, it's not possible to use it at sea. So whale watchers, operators at sea can't use the app to detect, to look for the whales. And it has been a great success. We are really happy with it. So in last year, we had more than 24,000 users. This year, we already have 18,000 users. So it represents 75% more than last year at the same time. So far, it's 42,000 users. So yeah, for a 2 years app, it's quite a lot. And yeah, we have this example of almost 3,000 users connected in one day around July 20. And I think that this year it's quite particular because we don't have so many whales, so many people are using the app, well, to have a better chance to spot one. And yeah, this success is due to mouth to ear, people telling others to use the app to either to report their sightings or to look at it to find where the whales are, but also because we are promoting it. And for instance, this year we have been implementing this advertising campaign, which is a fun advertising campaign based, well, inspired on the meeting apps like Tinder. Like we created Tinder profiles, for instance, Albator, uh, 20 meters of strength. His biology is I like to jump, to splash, to show my fluke, but red flag is sticky boats. So yeah, it's just a campaign to promote the app, the use of the app, and to continue to raise awareness about whale watching activity at sea and to develop more, well, whale watching activity from the shore, which is possible in Réunion very easily. And well, this has been possible thanks to the funding from the French government for the development of the app. And as you may know, the app actually was made by Wild Immersion, which is a company that is, among other things, app developer, a French one. And well, an app needs maintenance, and that's why we have this sponsorship with local companies that are helping this app to keep living along the years. So thanks to them. And yeah, I think I'm done with it. If you have any question, maybe you have uploaded the app while I was talking. If you have any question about how it works, feel free to ask. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Julie, for your presentation. It was great. And I've got the app on my phone, and it's a really great app to look for whales from the shore. And I agree that it is the best way to look for whales and observe them without having any impacts on the animals. If you have any questions to Julie, please ask them. You have one in the chat, Julie.
So have groups such as fishermen, Coast Guard, and targeting. Well, as I say, so now we prevented the use of the app at sea. So the idea is for them not to use it at sea. It's really to encourage the use from the shore. To encourage youth and women. So it's not properly a data collection. It's more a participatory app for people to share their sighting, but we are not using data for science, at least for now. But I think the app is made to be used by anyone, and as it's an app, I would say it's even more attractive to young people. And other incentives for those who provide data. Well, as I mentioned, it's not really proper science data, so that's why we are not really encouraging people to share the data in that way. But yeah. Is the app open sourced? I don't think so. Is there any possibility of replication? Yes, but with budget, I would say. But if you're interested, we would be happy to share any information we can to link with Wild Immersion, the developer. Well, if we can help in developing this app in other countries, that would be awesome. but it's not really open source, unfortunately. Yeah. And who owns the data? Well, we are not saving data. It's not well, I don't think so at least, but it's not there is no property behind. You're welcome.
Any other questions for Julie? Well, while you are thinking of some more questions for Julie, I will answer the previous one after my presentation. I had one about how many cases of non-compliance observed from your side. John, or Charlene, would you be able to answer this one with the data we collected on the field, approximately?
Audrey, can you repeat, please, the question?
The question is how many cases of non-compliance observed from your side?
Yes, so we have data that we could repeat. Yes, better. And have a compliance rate each year. So basically, it's between 70, sorry, to 85. It depends. It depends of the year. The year where the whales are a lot, this rate is better because the pressure is not in the same place, so the boat can be dispersed. Yes.
I hope that answers your question, Mala. Do you have designated zones for dolphin and whale watching for Danish? A question from Danishta. We do not have a designated zone for dolphin and whale watching. You can go around Réunion, but we do have a marine protected area where you cannot approach the animals closer to 100 meters, and where you cannot do swim with activities inside this area. And about the question, still from the same person, about can you please elaborate on the challenges with patrolling and surveillance of these activities? I would say one of the most important challenge is how to characterize an infraction to the law, because it's very hard at sea to say, for example, you are closer than 100 meters from the whale, so you're not allowed to be in this zone. You have a lot of specific points that are in the regulation that you could play with or argue with. I don't know how to put it. So it is a big challenge to be able to characterize the infractions. There were some more questions in the chat.
I think there's one more for Julie.
Yeah, there is one more for you, Julie.
From Danishta.
Yeah, I was just replying. Yeah, data is very important to use, obviously, but we have dedicated citizen science programs. As I mentioned, the CODAL program, which is based on photo identification. So yeah, we would rather use these citizen science programs, which are really created to collect data from everyone, and it's like there are better tools than the Balèn Terla app, which is more for raising awareness and create a community around the whale watching from the coast. And can you tell us on how much scientific data you use to produce this app? Well, I think all Globis data that gathered for the past 20 years, I would say, have been compiled in this app. Yeah, it was a lot of work to summarize all this, but yeah.
We will finish up with that last question from Sharmila. The procedure to become a member of the network is just to send us an email at the address I showed you before. It's waves and dolphin. Hang on, I will write it down here in the chat. It will be easier. So you just send us an email and I will add you to the mailing list of the network. All right, here it is. And yes, we will send the presentation, if that's okay with you as well, Julie, to the network. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope you got some interesting and useful information out of this webinar. Maybe next time we will increase the time of the webinar because I can see there is a lot of questions, but we'll see. Don't hesitate to ask us the questions to this email address if you think of others later on. And yes, thanks again for joining us today. Have a great day.